Sup, boys and girls, NYK31 here, Madden 17, Mutt Salary Cap ranked game. In this video, I'm going to begin going over how I play the 3-4. You see my lineup here. I'll explain why I have those players, where I have them. But as far as the 3-4, as you guys know, historically, I have not been in love with the 3-4 defense in Madden. This year, it's not great, but it's playable. The reason why is because the inside run fits make actually having a stout nose tackle and stout defensive ends actually useful. The downside of it this year, though, is that I'm not in love with the outside run fits, especially against counter. I find in this year's game that the outside run fits, if you don't spread out your outside backers or your backers in general, weird things happen to the outside backers, especially versus counter. They tend to get sucked inside still. And I wanted to find a way to kind of protect against that without having to overcommit and leave yourself vulnerable to the inside run, and also disguise things in the nickel and dime sub packages. That's really what makes a 3-4 in this game viable as well, is that the sub packages are really pretty nice. And if you can have versatile defensive backs on the field, especially at the safety positions, that you can put in and move around like a Tyrann Mathieu. You can have him play slot, you can have him play deep, you can blitz him, you can man him up, you can do all kinds of things with a real versatile safety. I think you can cause a lot of havoc and confuse these compressed set whores that you find online. So I settled on the Baltimore Ravens 3-4 playbook. I really like it. The reason why is because you have a 3-4 over ed, which gives you a 4-3 stack look, and you also have a 4-4. I feel like the 4 defensive line sets, the way the run fits our program, they do a much better job against stretch and counter than the 3 down lineman sets. So when I'm not in a 3-4 under or over to protect against a counter or an outside run, I'm usually in the 4-3 over ed or the 4-4. And with the personnel that I have, I feel like I can do a pretty good job against off-tackle runs. Now, speaking of the personnel, for my nose tackle spot, all I care about is block shedding. He's not going to be on the field that much because you're going to be in your nickel sub packages so much. So all you really need is a hoss there. I have Mount Cody with 87 block shed. You know, cheap guy. He's low cap value, and his job is to just plug the run. The game is not at the point where you can just stick a man mountain there and just his physical mass can make him a headache. He still has to be able to do something, and Terrence Cody with 87 block shed can do enough in order to be hard to deal with inside. My defensive ends, I like to have them be hybrids. There's a couple of ways to go into 3-4 with your defensive ends. You can either have pure run stuffers, or you can have defensive ends that play more like 3 technique defensive tackles in a 4-3. I prefer that approach. I like them to be able to do both, because I want to be able to have an inside pass rush when I play nickel and dime sub packages, and of course the outside backers or your edge pass rushers. And on this team I have base Khalil Mack, block shed in the high 80s, pass rush move in the low 90s, and he's athletic. And I also have team of the week Leonard Floyd, good block shedder as well. Not as good as Mack, of course, and pass rush move around 88 or so, 88, 87-ish. I don't want to go any lower than that ever. And he's also pretty athletic as well. And at the ends, I have Aaron Donald and Casey Hayward. They both fit that mold, and again, they'll go inside in the nickel. And sometimes I have Aaron Donald on the outside as well, along with Mack, and I move Hayward to nose tackle, and I have Leonard either blitzing or dropping back into coverage. Paul Krause Why do I have him at corner instead of safety? Pretty simple. He's got the man coverage and the zone coverage ratings to hold up on the outside in the low 90s. Plus, he's fast enough to hold up deep one-on-one, and he's 6 freaking 3. Only thing he can't really do is press. His press coverage rating is, I think, only 81. But he's so freaking big. He can tackle. He can hit. His man coverage and zone coverage are high, and he's athletic. He has more value, I feel, in this game at corner than he does at safety. I find that unless a safety has high hit power, elite safeties aren't that valuable in this game because of how the deep zones are programmed and are so passive. I figure he has more impact, and he has more impact for me playing corner and making life difficult downfield for the new Randy Moss, who basically plays like a faster Herman Moore, and Julio Jones and the new Antonio Brown. Those guys, they do not win one-on-one balls against them. It's impossible. They don't do it. And my free safety is Honey Badger, who I can move around, do anything I want with. He's the perfect hybrid safety for the type of 3-4 I want to play. I can drop him down to the slot and put a dime back at free safety in its place. I have Cersei there, Denora Cersei, who's also the same kind of player, but not as quite as good at man coverage. But when I drop Honey Badger down, I can put Denora Cersei at free safety as well, just depending on what I want to do. Do I want pure coverage out of that backup safety spot? Do I want run support out of that position? Do I want a combination of both? And Cersei allows you to do that. So the fact that I have versatile safeties, it allows me to have a value player at the dime corner spot. I can kind of tank that a little bit, which allows me to have a decent sub-package safety. Doesn't have to be great, but someone who's a silver tier, or maybe a, Antrell Roll Gold free agent who's a 17 cap value but has 80-something zone coverage, and I can kind of mix and match those spots. On that last place, I may get a user pick 6. One thing that I like to do against these compressed set maniacs is that if I'm in cover 2, I'll hook zone. No, I won't hook zone, but I'll go old school. There's Kraus. No way. You're not going to get that on him. But what I like to do is I'll go old school and change the middle read backer to a deep blue zone, and then squeeze underneath and play aggressive with the outside backer. These guys, when they roll out in these compressed sets, they're so good at creating hot routes to get that player to bork out that I feel like that adjustment helps him out. He's able to get deep, and it allows you to concentrate on cracking down on crossers, which when people play this way, it's a real pain in the behind. These deep zones are so passive that these guys think that throwing deep post into a single high safety is a good throw. Hit-based defending, the split close, the gun bunch, and the single back close, or the under center close sets, just a real headache. So that's kind of the introduction of how I go about playing this. I'm wrapping this game up here. I'm in the Saints playbook for this round. The thing I'm having trouble with as far as keeping up with the leaderboard is getting enough games in. I hadn't played a game in about 2 days, and my rank dropped about 20 points. I'm like, come on, jeez. I got things to do. I don't want to be playing 3 or 4 games of this every single day. I was 94, and a day and a half of inactivity had me dropped to like 115, 120. Come on. What do I gotta do? Play 3 games every day just to keep up? Kind of keep up with these guys who play for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours every single day? That makes keeping up on the leaderboard a little bit of a challenge. So we'll see how that pans out. I played a couple of games last night, and this was one of them, and we win this sucker, and we try to recoup some of our lost ground thanks to a couple of days of inactivity. Jeez. Anyway, I'm at 104 as of yesterday. So, hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.